everybody. My name is Marilee Burnett. I am your astrologer, back with the messages for the week of January 27th, where we have a surprising new moon in Aquarius, which could really shake things up. So we'll break that down for every sign. And of course, we still have a very active sky for the entire week as well. It's going to be a few months. We really have a lot that we are working through as a collective. And so we just have to be aware and comfortable with change. Now, if you're new to my channel, maybe you're not as prepared as you'd like to be, make sure you click on that subscribe button below. And then make sure you go out to my website, marileeburnett.com. There you can be connected to all of my material, all my written material, my free content, my daily cards. Everything is out there, so be sure you join. And then when I do create new content and get ready to send it out, you're already registered and you will get it for free in your inbox. You don't have to go search for it. So next week, you will get the new moon in Aquarius article with the breakdown, like I said, per sign. And that just helps give a little bit more detail. I'll cover as much as I can here on this session this week. But it's always good to get a different perspective, and looking at the written content sometimes can help you do that. All right, so like I said, we're going to break it all down. We're going to start out with Monday, January 27th. And I, as always, am using the Astro Gold software. So let's take a look at what is changing on Monday. And what you see, first of all, is Mercury at 29 degrees. And that is an anaretic degree. It's a critical degree. And it's making connections to the North Node and South Node that have just changed signs as of January 11th. So it's hard to believe that it's only been 2 weeks that we've seen the North Node in Pisces and the South Node in Virgo, but things are already shifting and changing quite dramatically. So we have to get used to the big changes. Remember, Pisces is the last sign, right? It's endings, it's closure, and we are also in a 9-year, which has very similar meanings. So this is about an ending of cycles, right? Cycles that you've been a part of for the last 9 years, and cycles that you've been a part of for the last 19 years as far as the nodes are concerned. So it's a transition time, and transition for some of us, probably the majority of us, is really uncomfortable. So we have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. That is what especially these first 3 months of the year are going to try to help you do. Remember, we have all the outer planets changing signs. So Monday, with Mercury's help and the nodes, there may become information that's critical, that's drawn to our attention. It may involve the government because it's in the sign of Capricorn. Mercury energy is young and youthful, so there could be something to do with those types of groups, but it's also a new government. So we are definitely seeing a lot of shifts going on, and we'll see some faded ones. So the South Node in Virgo, what we're letting go of, control, right? North Node in Pisces, having faith. And there's been some conflict, right, between the faithful and the followers. So we'll continue to see that. And again, pay attention to the messages that you get on Monday, because a faded one, maybe involving work, because that's also Capricorn, when we think about the 10th house, could be coming in for you, which could be a really good thing. So where do you have in your chart 29 degrees of Capricorn? And where are these nodes sitting? Combine all those together, and you might get a clue as to what your faded message will be. And remember, it's 29. It's a critical message. So don't miss it. Don't ignore it. Definitely investigate whatever you're hearing on Monday. And you might choose it to be a day where you have important conversations as well. We still have also on Monday this surprising connection between Venus and Uranus, and Uranus is slowing down. It's about to end its retrograde and move forward. And Uranus is surprising. It's electric. It's innovative. I call it like the Nutty Professor Einstein energy. So there's something where Venus is connecting with Uranus that could surprise you. And so it's at a peak here on Sunday, Monday. And so you'll want to be comfortable with unexpected results. Now, especially if you're doing things involving beauty, your money, it doesn't have to be a bad result, right? But it is an unexpected result that will be happening. And so we may see more of that on Monday. The two are starting to separate a bit from Mars. They started last week, all speaking in harmony together. Again, shaking things up. It's not the norm. And Mars does not perform well in the sign of Cancer. So even though these are speaking in harmony with one another, they might be digging things up from the past because of the retrograde motion of both Uranus and Mars. And Venus is almost pre-shadow to her retrograde that's going to start March 1st. So we have this huge long window where the work that we have to do with Venus and whatever the house or houses this is transiting through for you is just beginning. And so there may be something, again, that you're starting to get some clues about what that work will be for you. All right. So that is Monday. So end of Mercury in Capricorn, which can make conversations a little more harsh, a little more severe, a little bit more serious. And as we move into Tuesday, we are going to see that Mercury is now moving into the sign of Aquarius. So now this is conversations among groups. This is information that brings people together and unites them for whatever purpose. And of course, as Mercury moves in here, it's going to be over these next few days speaking with Pluto. So this is information, this is conversations, this is transportation, this is telecommunications, this is the internet, all the sciences, right? This is information that is meant to transform, because that's what Pluto does, right? It tears things down, it burns it to the ground. It's the phoenix rising. Well, the phoenix rises from the ashes. So there is information that comes today. And of course, Mercury's still speaking in harmony with the nodes. So whatever's happening, it's fated. So you can use information, you can use conversations to help create the transformation in your own life as well. You can use this research energy to find what you want to belong to, who you want to serve, how you want to make a difference. So the only thing you want to make sure of is that Pluto and Mercury aren't combining to stir up your fears, right? You don't want to react from fear and make choices that are not really healthy for you at this time either. So it's definitely an eye-opening time. So we want to be prepared, and we also want to be aware if we're being triggered, because that just means we have something that we need to resolve. All right, so that sees us to Tuesday. Let's move us on to Wednesday. And Wednesday is when we will see that new moon in Aquarius. So a new moon in Aquarius, right? It is a time for revolution. It is a time of inspiration. It is a time for the collective to come together. We can be united over a certain cause. And I like to always feel like Aquarius energy is we the people, right? And it's a time to find our tribe. So if you're feeling lost and disconnected and not sure how you can make a difference in the world, then this is the energy that can help you find out where you fit in and where you belong. Now, it speaks in harmony too with Jupiter, and Jupiter's still retrograde. It'll be retrograde until February 4th. And then thank goodness Jupiter's going to move forward, and all of the weird, crazy energy will calm down a little bit, because we'll have both Jupiter and Uranus moving forward. That is going to help. So there is some relief that is available to us. So, but when Jupiter is in connection with the moon and the sun, then there's blessings that are possible. So that's very encouraging. And blessings that come from information, come from conversations, right? Because this is Gemini energy. And of course, that Gemini energy is ruled by Mercury, also in Aquarius, talking to Pluto while we're having this new moon. So there is some potential for there to be like an astonishing new beginning, especially because of the fact that Uranus, the ruler of this new moon, is stationing to go direct the very next day. So that energy is more electric than normal. It's more erratic because of the fact when these planets are changing direction, which we know they don't really go backwards, they just appear backwards from our vantage point, right? That energy to turn, to go around the sun, right? It has to turn a lot up. So what is normal Uranus energy already erratic is on steroids. So these days before and after, especially this new moon, again, this message that I keep hearing of get comfortable with the uncomfortable, because that's what we'll be experiencing during this whole time. Okay, so we have that going on. Then we also will see this Venus conversation with Neptune getting stronger, Venus, Neptune, and the North Node all coming together, right? And Venus is love, and Pisces is a very gentle, healing type of energy. So there is the potential, maybe it's a woman figure that is helping us heal in some way. There's that potential. And of course, this depends on where this is showing up in your chart. All right. Those are the main attractions. For more detail on this, though, go out to my website. Like I said earlier, download this article if you don't subscribe, and take a look at any more connections that I dive a little deeper into in that article as well. Now, let's do a little rundown for each one of the signs. So this is just a little tidbit, generalized opportunity, because of course I'm not speaking to your natal chart, but I could if you book a session with me and we do the breakdown, and I can help you craft your 10 new moon wishes, talk you through the best ways to perform your ceremonies, and I have a special offer out there for new moons in particular that you can take a look at. I think it's pretty affordable. All right, so let's do this breakdown. If you are Aquarius, this of course is your new moon, right? So this new moon happens in your sign. So whenever you have a new moon in your sign, it's the perfect time to set intentions for a new beginning with how you represent yourself to other people, how other people are going to see you. And it's your personal goals, right? This is how you want to be rising in the world right now. So there is a chance, because of the help with Jupiter, for you to really do something big and important at this time. Now, Jupiter's a teacher, and Gemini is a teacher or student, right? All about education and communication. So there could be something that you decide to do for yourself because of this Jupiter influence that would expand your knowledge in some way. All right, so that is Aquarius. And then we're going to go backwards. All right, so then we're going to look at Capricorn. And Capricorns, for you, this happens in your second house. So this is a new beginning, a big opportunity that is associated with the way you make money. And so this could be a new job. It could be an increase in responsibilities. You could be taking on a teaching role, training role in some way, and just get a raise. You could get a bonus, right? Jupiter's going to expand on the new opportunities for you to innovate in the career that you currently have. And as a result of that, you could end up with an increase in your pay. So that's good news for you, Capricorns. All right. And then we are on to Sagittarius, and this happens in your third house. So the third house is all things Gemini. Teaching, communicating, traveling, especially local travel. It's community. It's a new beginning that could involve your family members in some way. So this is a time for you to think about the importance of things that are happening closer to home. I know you love an adventure and I know you love to travel, but there's a new opportunity that still inspires you, but it's something smaller, right? It's third house. It's not the ninth house, Sagittarius, big things, growing and expanding big things. It's your local community where you'll have a new opportunity to do something really innovative that makes a big difference. All right. Then we have Scorpios. And Scorpios, you're going to have this happen for you in your fourth house of home and family. So a new beginning at home could be somebody new that lives with you. It could be a new feature in your home. It could be a remodel, right? Because of course, Scorpio is always transforming and changing things. And with, again, the influence of Jupiter and Gemini energy, which Gemini is the twins, you could decide to change something in a big way. Like you used to decorate with white, now you're decorating with black, right? So there's something big that you're looking to do differently and probably very uniquely at home as well. All right, Scorpios. Next, we have Libra. And for Libras, this happens in your fifth house. And the fifth house can rule anything associated with your heart. It's romantic partners, it's our children, it's our hobbies, right? It's anything that fills our heart with joy. So there's an opportunity to start something new in that area. And then you have Jupiter in Gemini, which is trine to your sign now, right? So especially you Libra risings, which are within this 0 to 11 degree energy, you're going to notice this new opportunity in a big way if this is hitting on your sun, moon, or rising sign in particular as well, because Jupiter in retrograde's been having you think about what you're passionate about. All right. Next, we have Virgos. So Virgo, for you, this is going to happen in your sixth house. So this could be a new opportunity that revolves around the work you do, right? You could get an opportunity to do work in a technology type of field, right? Because that's all that Aquarian energy. And you could look to 2006, summer of 2006, that's the last time that the South Node was going through your sign. So the South Node's what you're working on letting go of. So were there work changes in 2006 for you? What kind of changes were you working on? This is things that we're letting go of. Sixth house is also health, our pets, being of service. So this new beginning, this innovative change with this new moon in your sixth house will change the balance of what you're doing in a big way in your day-to-day life. And because again, with Jupiter and Gemini being about the details, it could very well be a new job opportunity. Then we have Leos, and Leos, this is your seventh house. So this is a new beginning. That's a pretty serious commitment. It could be a marriage proposal, right? Taking things to the next level. And it could be legal contracts. It's maybe a creative solution to a legal battle. There's potential for that as well. And just a change in your relationship in general. And it might be the time to refresh your online dating because of the fact that this is the internet. So you could meet the one over the internet. Anything's possible. And Jupiter, again, will expand on whatever the opportunity is for you to have this experience. And remember, Jupiter and Gemini, from Leo's perspective, is in a sextile. So it's growth opportunities that support your relationships growing in some way. Next, we have, of course, Cancer. And Cancer's for you, this is your eighth house. So the eighth house of death, rebirth, transformation. So whatever the new beginning is for you, this energy of burning everything down, right? And the Phoenix rising moment could come because of something to do with trickle things in your house. So I want you to just be cautious about that at this time. But it's also, again, a way to be of service now. And doing that transforms your life in some way, in a big, important way. So that is our Cancer opportunities there. The other thing I want you to still remember, Cancers, is with Mars retrograde in your sign, it is so hard to feel rested, to get things done, to keep control over your emotions. We've got a little bit more time. It's until February 23rd that Mars is retrograde. So give yourself grace. Don't push things when you feel the walls and the doors closing in on you. Just go rest, and it's okay. Soon this will be over. And thankfully, it won't come back for quite a while. Bless the angels for that. All right. I'm speaking from personal experience because my son is also in Cancer. So I feel you, Cancers. All right. Back to our regularly scheduled program. Geminis, this happens for you in your 9th house. And you're going through some huge growth opportunities because, of course, Jupiter's in your sign. And again, the reviewing, who am I? What do I want to do? How do I want to make a difference? Right? That just continues. But something about the work that you've already been doing is joining in with Jupiter's energy with this new moon beginning that is all about Jupiter things, 9th house, growth, expansion, foreign people, foreign places, foreign travel, right? Higher education. So maybe you're just going to start a new college course. Maybe you're going to sign up to take college courses. Maybe it's something more around theology, right? Whatever it is, it might surprise you how it comes about, but go with it. All right. Next, we have Taurus. And Taurus, you have this happening in your 10th house. So this is about your career. So anytime you have shakeups in your career, it can be a little scary, but you're such a hard worker and you do so well with money. I'm not overly concerned with it. But 10th house things also could have things to do with a father figure. It has to do with your status, which sometimes could be your marriage. So it's a new beginning that's blessed, right? Because you have the support of Jupiter, something growing as far as the responsibilities with your career go is what you can expect with the help of this energy right now. All right, then, of course, we have Aries, and Aries for you, this is in your 11th house. This is your friends and networking groups. It can be mentors, and a new beginning here could introduce you to new people, which is a good thing because you are so good at doing everything all on your own. But with the help of this new beginning, you are finding some people that you share common interests with, and that inspires you, right? To belong and be a part of something that's making a big difference. And then last, we have Pisces. And Pisces, this happens in your 12th house. Now, 12th house can be a new beginning that you don't exactly notice because it can be about releasing something from your subconscious mind. But it's also associated with faraway places and large institutions where you can be hidden or lost, like hospitals and prisons. But if you happen to work for one of those or a government organization, right, then there is a surprising new opportunity coming for you that, again, might shock you a little bit because, of course, Jupiter is squaring your sign. So it depends on where your sun, moon, or rising, how this will affect you. And just know that something might come to the surface that shocks you and leads you to start something new. All right. So that's just kind of a brief rundown, as I mentioned, for each one of the zodiac signs. And if you want to know more, do consider booking a session with me, because then we look at your chart specifically and how also your natal planets, these angles of your rising, your descendant, your MC, your IC, all of these things make a difference to how I forecast what is coming. And I'm pretty good at my forecasting, so you might consider it. All right. let us move on from Wednesday and take a look at Thursday. And so Thursday is when we will see later in the day that Uranus is stationing and going direct. And I think we'll all kind of breathe a bit of a sigh of relief. And then we're also going to see over these next few days that as the sun moves into the sign of Aquarius, it's going to continue its positive connection and conversation with Jupiter. So this is air energy, right? Aquarius is an air sign. Jupiter in Gemini is making the air even bigger. And so conversations and information and our success, because the sun's our success among groups, will expand even more. So again, take a look at where's the sun in Aquarius energy for you and how is it combining with the house where you have this Jupiter energy. So this person, for example, Jupiter's in your 4th house of home and family. And this sun in your 12th house of, let's say it's the large organization. This person is doing well and maybe they're allowed to continue to work from home. And that's good news, right? Something along those lines. All right, that is really important. And then, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to start to see that Venus is going to be speaking with Neptune, and this is going to be the time where she begins her pre-shadow. So what's pre-shadow? Pre-shadow is a foreshadowing, right, of what's to come and what you're going to have to review. So whatever is transpiring, all I can tell you is it's a big deal because we are going to see the most interesting energy over these next couple of months with Venus through Pisces, and then quickly Mercury's going to catch up and go through Pisces. And as they move forward here and hit this 9 and 10 degrees Aries placement, where they're going to then both go retrograde, and we're going to have an eclipse at 9 degrees of Aries. I'm just saying, there's some big work to be done for the collective, for us as individuals. So when Venus is the first one to start coming through this territory, it's important to pay attention, especially to our feelings, to our intuition, to our emotions, because this is Piscean energy, right? It's the angels, it's the heavens, it's spirit, it's our art, it's our creativity, it's music, it's healing, it's health. So don't discount anything and journal at all, because once Venus on March 1st begins her retrograde, we have 6 weeks of things slowing down, and for us to ask the question, right? Do I really love this? Whatever this is, whatever this house is, do I find value in it? Do I feel valued? What's the financial impacts of what I'm doing? All of those types of questions, because those are the themes of Venus, are all up for review and for a long time. So Venus only comes through every 18 months and goes retrograde. And it's every 8 years that she goes retrograde through a particular sign. And so she will be doing both Aries energy work and Pisces. So again, the themes keep coming up for me that I'm sharing with you are, before we can have that new beginning, Aries energy, right? What I want, what I love, what I'm passionate about, we have to go back and finish up the work. Each of us as individuals have, of course, different work to do, but you know what it is. It's been bubbling underneath the surface for the past 2 years because of the fact that Saturn's been in the sign of Pisces. Now it's time to finish. We can't drag our feet any longer. So the eclipse, that's going to put the little pin in it, and it will be done. But you have to show up and do the work. And if you do, then that new beginning with the solar eclipse won't be shocking, right? Because you're joining with the energy and making the necessary changes. So we'll be talking more about that. But as Venus starts to go through here as it connects with Neptune, as it connects with the North Node, as it's in pre-shadow, showing us a first look at what we have to review, pay attention. Just pay attention. I cannot tell you how much I discourage you from hiding from the truth, being untruthful yourself, right? Because the dark side of Pisces energy is to hide away from the truth, to delude ourselves, to substance abuse, right? There's all ways that we can turn into the darker energy. And instead, if you have any of those challenges, this is the time for you to really create those breakthroughs. All right. That's Thursday. Let's move us on to Friday. And as I mentioned, now's the time where we see Venus conjunct to Neptune. This is really dreamy, creative, artistic energy that we have showing up. So it's a good time to activate that. And then, of course, as I mentioned, it's all talking with the North Node as well. This is our path forward, where we're heading. And they all are opposing the South Node. You know, the South Node has just got all this work by itself. There's nobody really around that's assisting in the letting go that you have to do. It's literally the South Node by itself in Virgo, except for when the moon comes down there and visits for quite a while, until we'll see this summer, right? When planets start moving through there. So the letting go can be more dramatic, I think, because you really have to do the work just yourself. Again, themes to what you need to let go may be related to that 2006, 2008 era. So take a look at that. Things that you need to incorporate, right? The North Node's where you're meant to go. Same era, right? So again, if you're struggling with what that is, go try out my hypnosis for Pisces session, because that can just help you connect to the energy and listen to the messages and the downloads and start paying attention to angel numbers. I always say thank you to the angels whenever I see one of their numbers as a message, and it just helps you be connected more. So that is important for us as well. All right. Let us take a look at what is going to happen on Saturday. Dun, dun, dun. And now we're into February. So unbelievable. I think I've seen so many memes about how long January has felt. And now we'll move into February. Now, I don't do Chinese horoscopes or astrology, but of course we've also had the experience of the Chinese New Year. So things are starting to, kick off again. And anytime we have a new month, I always say wake up and think rabbit, rabbit, because that can invite in some good luck. So now here we are. And as I mentioned, we're still seeing Venus, Neptune, and the North Node all connected. In fact, if I move this forward just a few hours, you will see this connection in real life as the energy of all of these planets combines. We even going to add in the moon. So there's something about Saturday that is a real emotional event for us. There is something that we feel called to do. We might feel called to heal. Definitely need to take a giant leap of faith on Saturday. And remember, when we have a stellium of planets, all of the energy is combined. And because it's combined, it's very intense. So perfect time to channel energy again, as I said, into like creative projects. If you're a writer, if you create music, if you're an artist, take advantage of all of this energy here helping you on your artistic, spiritual path in some way. And with that South Node energy in Virgo, right, you're letting go of your OCD-ness. You are cleansing your areas, removing the clutter, right? And allowing yourself more freedom, right? Because the thing about Piscean energy, right? It's water. It's being free flowing. And that Virgo energy is what keeps you grounded. And you need both, right? Water, if we only had water, can't sustain us. We need the earth, right? Because the earth is what feeds us. And you need a good balance of water with the earth, right? That's the point of the North and the South Node, is to learn and understand the lesson of perfect balance between these two opposing energies. So, something about our lessons that have really just kicked off, there's another level that we are trying to be raised to at this time. So Saturday is a pretty big, important day that, of course, we want to be paying close attention to. All right. Let us just look at the same thing as we move into Sunday. We're just going to now see Venus and the North Node and Neptune all at that 28 degrees. And Venus is going to quickly move past here because she moves much faster. But the good news is now this week, especially with the nodes off of that critical 29 degrees, hopefully some of the intensity, the lessons, the harsh lessons, right? Everybody always thinks, oh, North Node, it's my fate. Yes, your fate to learn a lesson so that you can be on your path. It's not things that are just handed to us. We have work to do. So we may still, throughout this whole weekend, feel the intensity of what that work is for each of us as individuals. So again, this house where you have all of this late degree Pisces or this early degree Aries energy, serious workout, especially in the first half of this year. Serious. More work than you've ever done. And it doesn't even match what we did, as I mentioned earlier, back in 2006, because we didn't have all of this intensity. We didn't have a Venus retrograde. We didn't have a Mercury retrograde all happening at the same time. And we didn't have Saturn in here either, giving us the harsh lessons if we aren't holding good, healthy boundaries. So there's similar patterns, but it's not exactly the same. And all I can say is I'm there with you doing the work. So I can totally appreciate what you're going through. I have all of these placements as well, which makes sense doing the work that I do. All right, so that's the week ahead. Let's take a peek at next week, which, as I mentioned, on Tuesday, we will have Jupiter finally moving forward. You know, Jupiter in Gemini is not in a good place. Now, I always say it doesn't matter that planets are in signs that they don't get along with or they don't do well in, because that just teaches us, right, how to do better when things are harder to do it, right? Harder to understand. So many people, I hear this going on right now, right? Because we are very divided politically in the world. And the question I keep hearing over and over is, why? What's happening? Why is this happening? I don't understand. And that's exactly Jupiter in retrograde, right? I don't understand. I can't clearly connect with the information that's coming through. So some of that will start to fade away as Jupiter stations to go direct. But just like when Uranus stationed go direct this prior week that we're talking about right now, Jupiter, when it does it, same thing. It's going to expand, right? It could be information overload, especially when Jupiter and Mercury combine next week with a big story to tell us in some way, a big internet story of some kind. So maybe it's TikTok, maybe it's a new buyer. I don't know for sure, but we'll soon find out. And then also we're going to see that Venus will leave Pisces, where she loves dreaming, and then move into this very harsh energy of Aries, which for Venus, it's where her lover lives. So she appreciates Mars's energy for that other person, but not necessarily for herself. But for us as individuals, again, this is why I said we've got to figure out what we love, what we're passionate about, and what we're willing to fight for. So we're still now starting to navigate where we want to head with our Venus goals as Venus goes from this 0 to 10 degrees until March 1st. And then we've got to decide how we're going to go about getting it. And that will be the retrograde journey, as I mentioned, from March 1st to April 12th. So we've got a lot of time to contemplate. And as in all things, love relationships aren't the best to begin during a retrograde. Love lessons come up during a retrograde. So just remain relaxed about love and relationships, money right now, because there's so much going on. Even if you try to solidify something, you're not going to be able to. The energy's got too much change, too many lessons. So if you want a major lesson in love, sure, jump right in. Just know there's work to do to really understand your emotional triggers when it comes to love and relationships. So, all right, that is one of the things. And then the other thing, and this is going to go on for a long time. So we need to tune in to what's showing up when Chiron in Aries is going to be square to Mars in Cancer. Now, a square means something needs to change. And, Chiron is the wounded healer. He's a coach, a trainer to the gods, right? So it can be an advisor. It's our pain. And Mars causes accidents. So it's just going to be an extended time where we need to be careful, because this is energy that, like I said, things can happen that are uncomfortable, but it also is energy that you can grab a hold of and work on healing yourself, right? Your confidence, because this is Chiron in Aries and Mars, ruler of Aries, right? And Cancer might be telling you it's time to deal with your feelings and how overly emotional you are. So we have this square going on all the way through to the 23rd, when Mars will station to go direct, and then it's going to start marching forward. So whatever this conflict is, we don't know the whole story. We don't see the big picture all the way through eclipse season even. So just keep an eye on where you have, again, Mars in Cancer, Chiron in Aries, and know that there's a potential for a conflict in these two houses, and see what transpires. But be ready to make some big changes for yourself, right? Time to heal. Okay, lots to talk about. Of course, I'll break down more next week, but these 2 weeks kind of really flow into each other. So I just wanted to spend a little bit more time giving you a preview on next week as well. And of course, if you subscribe to my website and this channel, then I will start mailing out the articles for February, which of course are already out there. So you can go peek at them now, where I include, of course, the new moon and the full moon. And again, there's a very interesting wild full moon in Leo that will happen in February, and then we're going to have that new moon in Pisces, more enlightenment about the work of the North Node in Pisces for you specifically. So lots to come. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support, your sharing my work with people. I love your feedback and your stories. I know I have kind of a small group that I work with, but I like it that way because I like getting to know you as individuals and know that you can reach out to me and send me a text or send me an email and I respond. You don't just have to book a session with me. I'm a little bit more available probably than I should be, but I'm a part of your life and your world and here to support you. So I enjoy your feedback. I love your comments, and I love your follow-ups. So thanks for doing that and keeping me. I always say, I'm invested in your journey now. I need to know how life is going for you. So Thank you again. I hope it's an amazing, innovative week ahead and that you get big blessings from that Jupiter and Gemini energy, and that the changes that are presented to you end up being a real blessing, even if it's a blessing in disguise. All right, guys, we will talk next week. Take care, everybody. Be sure and check out your weekly tarot card messages as well. Those, along with this astro lesson, are going to give you the big picture. Thanks again for tuning in. Talk to you next week.